And this will jump us right into the next session, where we want to discover job opportunities in various sectors of the African economy. We have panelists all the way from Belgium. We have our very own Dr. Kenneth Okonkwo, who are joining in so that they can talk about discovering job opportunities in various sectors of the African economy. I would just like to list the panelists. The first one will be Hilary Barry. She's the Secretary General and CEO of Lydia Group Impact Investment Hub. We have Mr. Pedro Lopez, the Secretary of State, Innovation and TVET, Government of Cape Verde, and also Dr. Kenneth Okonkwo, a veteran or actor, Nollywood, Nigeria, and also a lawyer. Our moderator today will be Ms. Adelaide Hire. She's the Secretary General, African Union Diaspora Youth Initiative, and also a program manager of African Caribbean Pacific Youth National Professionals Network. She's from Madagascar. You can all see that we have people from all over the continent so that we can speak about African solutions to the problems that you're having. I'll talk about a bit of the profile for our moderator, and then she will usher in the profiles for our very own panelist. Ms. Adelaide is the program manager of ACP Young Professional Network. She coordinated the first and second Black History Month, European Union, a commemorative month of recognition and celebration of the contribution of Black people in the past, present, and future history of Europe's socio-economic cultural development, bringing together CEOs, institutions, industry leaders, private and public stakeholders from across the continent. She was in the team coordinating the Belgian visit of UN experts of the International Decade for PAD and the CEOs of the civil society. She was also the part of consultation with the government ahead of the Belgian launch of UN International Decade and continuously advocated for the participation of the youth in all discussions. And that's the reason why we have her here as our moderator today. So I will give the floor to Ms. Adelaide Hire to ask to moderate the panel, the next panel. Thank you so much, and thank you for joining in, all of you.
Thank you so much, Cynthia, for the introduction and the transition. First of all, greetings, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Really happy to be joining you for this lovely conversation. As Cynthia mentioned, the main focus of this discussion will be discovering job opportunity in the various sector of our speakers. So the context, I'm sure, has been already outlined in the welcome session. Young people are disproportionately affected by unemployment on the continent, even though we are the majority on the continent, and COVID and social political situation in some countries will put added pressure to this reality. What you can expect from this discussion is to hear some industry insight and some concrete advice from our panelists on getting employed or creating employment. So without further ado, we'll jump into the discussion. I will start with our first panelist, which is Ms. Hilary Barry. She is the Secretary General, the CEO of Lady Agri Impact Investment Hub in Belgium. She founded the investment hub. She's Irish. Since her first experience in Ghana in 1993, she had the design and implementation of social impact program across Africa, Caribbean, and Pacific states. Lady Agri was funded in 2018 by Hilary and her co-founder, Aele Gambian from Togo, and Aida Excelson Bakri from Ethiopian and Swiss. The hub compromised multidisciplinary experts from across Africa and the international agricultural business and financial sector. Hilary is convinced venture philanthropist and believe patient investment in women agriculture supply chain, though challenging, will have a rising tide effect and sustainable social impact. I will start by asking her the first question that I will have for all our panelists today. Can you give us more insight into job creation and opportunity in your own sector, that being continental or country specific or organizational specific? Specifically, if Hilary, you can tell us more about funding and employment opportunity in the agricultural sector and value chain, and what Lady Agri is doing in that regard.
Thanks so much, Adelaide. I'm delighted to be with all of you today. A huge hello to everybody who's joining in from Africa. I'm speaking to you from a rather grey and rainy Brussels today. African time that we so missed during to this COVID pandemic at the moment. So yes, Lady Agri, I think it's all in the name. It's all about connecting women in agriculture, agri-value chains to opportunities. We work across 3 pillars. So we support women agri-entrepreneurs from a technical assistance point of view, structuring their agri-business plans, structuring their market position. We link them to appropriate finance, needed to the development of agribusiness. And then the 3rd pillar is all about access to quality equipment and technology, and right through to packaging. You know, how do you make that product attractive to your consumer, so that you can actually strengthen your business. In terms of opportunities, yes, there are opportunities everywhere. The question is, are we equipped to actually seize them? And so that's why we actually work across these 3 pillars. From our experience, there are fantastic women-led SMEs across the continent, creating jobs, sourcing from farmers, producers, and linking them to markets. The opportunities for young people, it's all about, well, what do you actually bring to the table as a young person? What are your qualifications? How do you create trust in you? Are you trustworthy? What can you actually bring to these companies? Or do you want to be an entrepreneur yourself and start your own business? So I suppose the key question today from Lady Agri is to help young people to find their purpose. I think that's key in these COVID times. There's a lot of anxiousness around at the moment. I think we're in a time of, you know, moving sands, and it's difficult to stay focused. I think that would be a key challenge at the moment for young people across Africa, to also young people here in Europe. So maybe taking a little step back, defining what you want to do. From our perspective, we think there's so much to do and can be achieved in terms of agriculture. COVID has brought us very much back to the essentials. What's linking us all today is that we're all quite concentrated on food. That's what's keeping everybody going. There are opportunities in food processing. There are opportunities in supplying quality, nutritious food on both to local markets, regional markets, and export markets. So yeah, I suppose it's about who is interested in what. I just listened to the previous session and I saw there was a number of questions, Adelaide, in the chat regarding, but are we just exporting our primary produce? Is it leaving the continent? Are we just, you know, exporting our wealth and not capitalizing on that? Well, Lady Agri entrepreneurs are fully working against that just exportation of just primary produce and giving that added value. We have companies processing cashew in country. We have companies who are processing right through to baby food in terms of substituting those expensive imports which are coming in, and we find women throughout the agri-value chains, you know, whether it be fish, whether it be coffee, cocoa, cashew, fruit, veg. It's clear that women are the driving force behind these food supply chains, and so our objective is to support them in actually growing their business and developing more of that. I'll finish there because I'm sure there's other my other colleagues will also be adding in what they have to say, Adelaide.
Okay, thank you very much, Hilary Berry. I was unmuted for a second. Thank you very much for keeping it short, although you have packed it with so much information. So I think I'll follow up with more insightful or more concrete questions later on. I will jump to Dr. Kenneth Okwanko quickly while we wait for Pedro Lopez to join us. So I don't know if I need to introduce Dr. Kenneth himself, but for those who don't watch Nollywood or who missed it or who were born a little bit too late, Dr. Kenneth Okwanko is a lawyer and veteran actor and Nollywood in Nigeria. He is, like I said, he's also a diplomat and a politician. He graduated as one of the best students in business management at the University of Nigeria. That's before he became such a huge celebrity, where he was awarded a certificate for academic excellence. He's also a graduate of law at University of Lagos. He's best known for acting in the pioneer movie Living in Bandage that started Nollywood and has since done over 250 movies, with most of them the greatest hits of Nollywood. He was recently conferred with the title of, I'm sorry if I don't pronounce this properly, so Agbujugu, is that right? No, it's not right. You will excuse me, everybody in Nigeria, because I'm doing my best here. By eminent traditional ruler of Igbo lands. My Igbo is not good at all, obviously. In recognition of his contribution to the promotion of Igbo culture and tradition. Dr. Kenneth is a prolific writer and a newspaper columnist. He presently writes the back page columns of the Sunday Sun called Global Square. He has received numerous awards both at home and abroad. I can't name them all, so I'll just name the Pillar of Nollywood Award in 2013 by the African Movie Academy Award and the Best African Actor in 2009 and 2011. So without further ado, Dr. Kenneth, if you can just give us more insight into opportunity in the creative industry, and how has really the creative industry has kept us alive a little bit indoor during this COVID time. Can you tell us a little bit more? How is it going for the creative industry, the movie industry in general, and what are the opportunity? How can young people get involved more in general?
Well, thank you very much, the moderator. I am glad to be here with you and my co-panelists, Hilary Barry and Lopez. So it's really a pleasure, having to talk about jobs in this particular time, because in a developing world, job is very important. Job is simply what you do for a living. And you see, job is very important because to be idle is to be the devil's workshop. And on a national scale, when the youths are jobless, it leads to political instability. When you hear all these riots, all these protests, it's because there are a lot of idle youths that are there doing nothing. So job is very important, both for your finance, both for your health, both for your dignity. When you're jobless, certainly you will be poor. And you know what poverty does in the life of men and a nation generally. So jobs are very important, especially in a developing nation, because the consequences are dire. Now, having said that, you will discover that when you talk about job opportunities, you're talking about the favorable conditions in your environment that will enable you to get the kind of job that you want. So all these opportunities are already there. Some created by God, some created by men, as in developed by men. So it is your duty to discover these jobs, to discover this opportunity. Doing this discovery, you have to look at two things. You have to look around. You have to, first of all, look inside of you. You have to look inside of you first to know those natural talents that is deposited in you by nature, that gives you the knowledge, the wisdom, the understanding naturally to do those things that you are interested in doing. Look inside of you. When God created man, he deposited in you the talent, the skill that will enable you to do what you are supposed to do on earth, to work. Work is very important even to God. That's why when he created Adam, the first thing he told him is to work. He created Adam, gave him Garden of Eden, and told him to dress it and keep it. So when you discover that talent in you, then the next thing you have to discover. And this talent, I'm telling you, has been explained in Exodus 31 from verse 1 to 6. When God wanted to build a house for himself, he told Moses that he should call some people in their midst whom he has given the talent of engineering. He said it himself, engineering, so that they will work on those visions to bring it to pass. Why I'm elaborating on this is in relative to entertainment. You are going to look more of inward than your environment. However, the second thing you have to look at before going to that is your environment. Before searching for the job opportunities, you have to look at the macroeconomic policies of the government. Because certainly, whenever you want to do any work, you have to do work that is legal, which will not entangle you with the law. So you have to look at the policies of the government. Then secondly, you have to look at infrastructural development of the environment that you are looking for the job opportunities, because it's very important. It determines the cost of whatever you are going to do, because you have to have the capital, you have to have the road network, you have to be connected. For instance, if we don't have good network, for instance, of telephone services, we wouldn't be able to be doing what we're doing now, practically having a lecture from around the world. So you have to look at the environment, the economic environment, which includes the macroeconomic policies, which includes the infrastructure development. And then, thirdly, you have to look at the morality of the people. In other words, their tradition and their culture. Because certain things may not be illegal, but it may offend the sensitivities of the people in your environment. So if you are seeking for a job, and when I mean job here, I'm talking about job creators and job seekers. The people who create jobs and the people who are seeking for jobs. So there are two different kinds of people. Now, you have to look at the morality of the people that are in your environment. To see what offends.
If I can just ask you to conclude on these questions, and don't forget to talk specifically on your industry, so we can move on to the next.
I was actually coming to that. Yeah. Now, relating the introduction to the entertainment industry, one thing you have to notice is sense natural talent. That's why I started with the deposit in you. You must have to have it in you. And then the opportunities are very, very wide. And when we talk about entertainment, we're basically talking about movie, music, sports. These are the three branches. Of course, I have to be biased about movie, and that's why I started with it, because that's my industry. But one thing I would want you to know, that when you are looking for job opportunities in the movie industry, there are three basic things that you have to have. You have to have the strength, because most entertainment are quite physical. You have to have the physical energy. It's very important. That is why most times entertainment is done by younger people. You have to have the knowledge. You have to have the charisma. Entertainment is the ability for you to make people happy. So likability is very important when you want to be an entertainer. So basically in entertainment industry, there is a lot of opportunities, too wide, too big for you to harness. When you have the talent inside of you, when you have the charisma and you have the knowledge. In the movie
Thank you.
industry,
Dr. Kenneth, sorry, I have to cut you. Otherwise, we are not going to have time to also interact with the other speakers and participants. I don't know if Mr. Pedro Lopez has joined us. If you have, okay, thank you. All right, so our next speaker is Mr. Pedro Lopez. I'm not sure, I cannot see you, but, oh yeah, I can see you now. He is the Secretary of State Innovation and Technical Training for the government of Cabo Verde. He is known for organizing the first TEDx of Cabo Verde and for being the founder of Generation Be Bright, a young empowerment organization. In 2017, he won the prize of We Are Cabo Verde, Best of the Year in the category of innovation and entrepreneurship in the world. And NEPAD won as one of the most influential people of African descent in the world under 40 years old, and was chosen by the former President Obama to be part of the first leadership innovation in Africa, the Obama Leaders. At the age of 31, he became the youngest member of the current government of Cabo Verde, and by being appointed as Secretary of State for Innovation and Technical Training. So I would straight jump into the question. My first question was about job creation and opportunity. I guess in your sector, it will be more technological, and if you have within the COVID context and the social political context of your country or of the continent, what are the opportunity in innovation and technology, and how do you create this opportunity? And also, if you can just mention a bit about vocational education and how can that help create more employment?
Thank you so much. First of all, let me greet all the participants. I see that we have a lot of people online. That's fantastic that people can take their time to listen to us. Also, let me greet the moderator, Ms. Adelaide, also Ms. Hillary and Dr. Kenneth. It's a pleasure to be in the panel with you. And let me say to Shinwa and all the organization, congratulations. It's not easy to organize these events, especially organizing everything online. Sometimes looks that it's just a Zoom event, but coordinating all the logistics is not easy. And they do that not because of money, they do that because they want to have impact in the world. So that's fantastic. That being said, I'm from Cabo Verde, a small country in West Africa, close to the off coast of Senegal, 1 hour to Senegal. Well, if you swim, it will take you more than that. But if you take a plane, just 1 hour. I want this conversation to be, even though I'm with my tie, it's just because I have the Council of the Ministers in 1 hour. I want this conversation to be fun, because when we have fun conversations, we can be more creative. And this is a place where we don't have to be very formal, and we need to look for creative solutions. And that's the responsibility of the youth. Look for creative solutions. And this is the time. A lot of people are pessimists with COVID-19. Unfortunately, a lot of countries lost a lot of jobs, and a country like mine, that we depend and we rely on the tourism sector, it's been devastating for us. The World Bank says that Cape Verde is one of the most affected countries by COVID-19, not because of the number of casualties, but because of the effect that he has on our economy. In a small country where we always created a lot of jobs on the tourism sector, and also I have the responsibility of technical training, TVET. That means that all the technical training, I oversee that, and we have a school of tourism where each year we train thousands of Cape Verdeans, and the government pay for that training. Now they are unemployed. So we need to look for solutions. We cannot just cross our arms and think, okay, now we are doomed. A country like mine, we were growing 7% of our GDP before COVID-19. Now we cannot stop. So they were relying a lot on oil, and we see the price of oil going down as well. They need to diversify their economy. Here in Cape Verde, we are thinking about innovation. We are thinking about renewable energy. We are thinking about even modernization of agriculture. So these are the path for Africa. I think it's important for our young people to think what we can do in our continent that allow us to stay in our land. You mentioned that I'm part of Obama Foundation, and that's true. 2 years ago, I was selected by President Obama to spend 1 week with him and his team in Joburg, and it was a fantastic experience. He chose leaders that were already in the time of passing the baton to young leaders. So I had the opportunity of being with world leaders and talking about the challenges of the future. And one thing that I asked him, and I remember that was very impactful for me, I asked him, President Obama, how can we reverse the brain drain in Africa? Because we lose our bright minds to Europe and to America and to other places in the world. And I think that's very important to discuss. How can we revert the brain drain of our continent? Because we cannot have a continent that is bright if our brightest minds are away and they are leaving. So we need to have policies that maintain them in our continent, and also we have to create opportunities. It's not the job, the role of the government to create jobs. Sometimes politicians, and I'm going to be honest here, being the youngest member of the government in Cabo Verde and still being young gives me that opportunity. Politicians, sometimes they are honest enough to say that they cannot create jobs. What they should do is create opportunities for young people. And young people, not just in Africa, but in the world, but especially in our continent, they are willing to fight for an opportunity. And they don't want the hand of the politician. They don't want the hand of the community leader. What they want is the recognition of their ideas and put them in practice, in their work, in their jobs, in their startups. So there is a new generation that I think that is going to change the continent. I'm also part of YALI. I participate in YALI in 2017. It's like a beautiful program of the State Department of the United States that allows more or less 1,000 young African leaders to go to US. And it's unbelievable because we discover Africa in US. And I think we should discuss more that, because we as Africans, we cannot claim ourselves Africans if we never leave Accra, if we never visit Addis, if we don't exchange ideas with an NGO from Praia, Cabo Verde. So it's important. Sometimes we don't have the money, but COVID-19 gives this opportunity of having more and more virtual meetings. We need to exchange ideas more. So what I believe, first of all, we need to look for opportunities. What are the opportunities of the future for young people? I want to be a X-ray specialist. Well, if in 10 years, artificial intelligence will make sure the machines make the job, make the service better than me, well, maybe I should not invest in that training. We should align our expectations with the trending professions of the future. We should look what are the opportunities, what are lacking in my environment, in my ecosystem, and look for opportunities. And then this is the responsibility of governments, is to make sure that if someone doesn't have the money to pay for the training, that's the responsibility of the government. Pay for the trainings, because the condition of the father should not prevent the son to learn. This is essential. So here in Cape Verde, because I don't want to just give words, I want to tell you something about what we did. Right now we have a program of reconverting long-term unemployed people in coders, in programming. So we made a partnership with Code Academy. It's going to cost us a lot of money, but I think we're going to have the return of the investment. And we're going to train Cape Verdeans that are unemployed. They don't need to have a background in ICT, because that's important. Sometimes you think, okay, how can I be a coder if I never study, if I'm not an informatic engineer? Well, you don't need to. That's the beauty of it. Right now, the world needs more and more people that have technical jobs instead of university degrees. And there is an opportunity.
Pedro, if I can just ask you to conclude, so we have only 10 minutes left.
Go
ahead.
Because I'm always excited to think about the future. And if you see a company like Google right now training people for a third of the costs and for the third of the time, and we can do it global, it's unbelievable. So countries in Africa that sometimes our universities don't have the resources to have a high quality, right now everything will change because learning will be global. Also works start to be global. So we need to focus on opportunities on a global scale, and from our country, we can start working to a different company in the world, but stay in the continent, make the change in our continent in Africa. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Pedro. And I'm sorry I have to cut you all the speaker off. You have so much interesting things to say, but we only have 10 minutes left. So I want you to be to answer maybe one more question before we go. So a question for Hilary Berry. Second question would be some concrete advice on job and funding opportunity. And here I'm really looking for how and where do young people find this opportunity? How do they apply for it? How do you get this job? And I won't cut you. I think Kenneth, if you can follow up also with receive a question more specific for you. And I will have another question for Pedro. Go on, Hilary.
Sorry, is it for me?
Oh, okay.
No, sorry, Hilary. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Yes. So yeah, I just want to come back on what Pedro just said. So yes, let's start thinking global and start acting local. I think that's the key question. It is definitely the responsibility of governments to provide quality education to their young people. If it's not available, I think it's also, we're in a time where we can reach out and we can actually follow free online training. And I think that is really important in terms of getting young people to look outside of what you have right now and what you need in terms of training to improve that skill set. And the skill set that you should be looking for, if you're looking for a job, you need to also understand what is the market looking for. You know, if you want if you decide that you want to train up as an astrophysicist, but there's absolutely no opportunities for that, then I think it's a question of seeing, okay, do I have what the market needs? And if I don't have it, how am I actually going to acquire those skills? And the other issue I would say is that it is really critical for young people to work on their own, what I call self-discipline. And I think this goes back to what my colleague, Mr. Kenneth, said earlier. You know, what are you doing to keep your mind fit, your body fit, in terms of being ready to actually and be interesting to employers. The other thing I really want to say is that we have to stop being in a passive situation. No one is going to come up and knock on your door and offer you a job. It's up to you to actually go out there, understand the market, understand what you want to do, be passionate about what you do. Because if you stand in front of any prospective employer and if they can feel that passion, I know from going through many recruitment stages myself, it's the woman and the girl who stands in front of me. She might not have the bachelor, the master's, the qualifications, but if I can feel that she is hungry if she's hungry to work for me, if she's willing to go the extra mile, and I'm saying she because I think I'm the only woman on the panel, so I need to voice the women. We're certainly not a feminist group, but I think it's, you know, it is different for women across the world. We have different challenges. Our audience today, we were asked to cater for that 17 to 37-year-olds. Women are up against very different issues and challenges in that time period, very much from deciding your career, whether you want to become a mother, because we're right in that stage at that, balancing both of those. There are different challenges that perhaps our boys and young men are not faced with. So it's important to differentiate on that issues. So I would say in terms of funding, in terms of opportunities, getting very granular here, Adelaide, I would say look out to see what is available at the moment in terms of incubation centres. How can you actually lean in and see what sort of skills you can acquire? There are so many programs that are out there, and I think people are just not aware of them. And also, again, going out and looking, you know, I think my first job, it was about going to every single door. I was in Accra at 17, and my father said, well, you can stay if you actually learn something and if you actually get a job. And you can probably imagine a young Irish girl, no qualifications. I'd literally come out of secondary school, but I was hungry to learn. I was really hungry to learn. And it was about being persistent, and it was about sitting in came by and jumping and saying, here, can you have a look at my CV, and this is what I want to do. And I would say that is something that we need to be disciplined about. You need to invest heavily in yourself and believe in yourself, and you will sense that. They will sense that flair. And if I look over the trajectory, because we're looking now at 17 to 37-year-olds, that's their whole career plan. Have a plan, and make sure that when you're applying for a training or a job, that it's all fitting in. They're all little parts of a puzzle that are fitting together. Because also, if you look at anybody's CV, if you see someone who is chopping and changing, and there's no, what we say in French is a fil rouge, there's no linkage, there's no logic in that person's CV, then you're not going to have much trust in that person. Sticking with it and actually making sure that all of those parts of the puzzle fit together nicely. And also, if you can have that purpose and have that plan, sometimes it might be taking the job opportunity that is less paid, because you know in the long term it's going to get you further. So be clear, be disciplined, define your purpose. I think I'll stop there because I know you're very caught on time, Adelaide. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Hilary, for that. And to catch up on what you said about this fil rouge, I think Kenneth's amazing career says everything about being consistent and being sustainable in your own career. So my question, it was an audience question here. It was, how can young Africans start out and succeed in entertainment industry? And the second question is, what would you say about rejection in the movie industry? And to be honest, if I must be true, this exists in all industry. Rejection is a reality. So, Kenneth?
All right. Let me first of all say that entertainment is an African thing. Every African has either one thing about you. You are a dancer, you're a musician, you are a comedian. That is why in Nigeria, we are described as the happiest people on earth, because practically everybody is an entertainer. There are a lot of opportunities, and the greatest thing that thrills the world in entertainment is originality. We have about 250 tribes in Nigeria. if you can study a lot of these tribes, study their way of life. That was why I was talking about culture and tradition. You can make fantastic stories of each tribe. If you can make 10 movies of each tribe in Nigeria, in a year, you have made 2,500 movies, and they will all be original. And each tribe has its own peculiar way of dancing, peculiar way of dressing, peculiar history, how they emerge. These are fantastic story points. I remember our turning point in Nigeria in the movie industry came in 1992 when we did that movie, Living in Bondage. It was shot in an African story, written by Africans, telling African lifestyle. And when it came out, people could relate with it because that was what was happening in our environment. And it destroyed the appetite for foreign movies in Nigeria till date. So if there are lots of opportunities for any young man growing up in Africa in entertainment, try to be original. Try to invest in yourself. Train yourself. Look, the government is not there. Let us accept it. In Nigeria, for instance, we have a lot of disadvantages in terms of infrastructural development. We don't have steady power supply. Then with this COVID-19 that has limited the association that you can have in a group capacity, then the ingenuity of the entertainer can make you to depend on yourself and still reach out to the world. Now, a musician can compose his music using his talent and sing it and wax it and send it to the world. There are these young people called the Ikorodu boys, for instance. I am thrilled by the entertainment style they are doing. They don't even go to write any new story. They just get a movie that is already there and get the young little children to start mimicking the actors. And when they are playing the real movie, they will be playing the actions of the little guy, dividing the screen into two. And you see how fantastic the young children are trying to mimic them. And now they are world celebrities by that simple sense of originality. They are not writing any new story. They are not doing any new acting. They are just trying to mimic. And because of their age, even the actors so mimicked are attracted to them and giving them support. You don't have to wait for government. Like I said, entertainment is 80% you. What comes out of you? Nobody is asking you your certificate, even though certificate is very important. After I finished my degree in school, I left my certificate aside and I went into the movie industry. And you know what? When I entered the movie industry, I discovered that a lot of them were not graduates. So I refused to even tell them that I had graduated from school so that they don't think I would be, I'm trying to like intimidate them. Because in entertainment, they want to see what you can do, not the certificates you have. In sports, for instance, if you want to be a sprinter, nobody wants to see your certificate. You just go there in 100 meters and run. And once you come first, you are excellent. Now, what will make you to excel is what I can call spirit of excellence. When you get into anything you're doing, if you can become first in that profession, you're a millionaire. Then if you can discover what has not been there at all, you're a billionaire. So it is easy to make it in life, but our ability to look inwards, our ability to train ourselves, because when you have now started and you start training yourself, you get to the top and your world will listen to you and will seek for your expertise. Now, having said that, knowledge is very important. Then the things that can keep you to excel you in what you're doing in Africa, because like I said, you don't have a lot of governmental support. You have to be disciplined. You have to be dedicated. You have to be determined. You see, your talents can take you to the top very fast, but only the spirit, whatever you can do, because there are a lot of opportunities in Nigeria for an entertainer. Whatever you can do, another person, 1,000 other persons can do it. But when you distinguish yourself by being disciplined, discipline is self-control. When they say 8, come by 8, because there is a producer that has staged his money. And this money he suffered to make it. And when you miss that 8, you are wasting his money and wasting his resources. You have to be disciplined. Then you have to be dedicated. If you don't know how to define dedication, say deadly commitment. Give it your all. Look, entertainment is something that people are watching you in their homes. So you don't have any privilege to bribe them on how they will rate you. So what they will rate you is exactly who you are. They're watching you in their homes. You have to give it your all. And you have to be determined. Don't lose hope. Don't lose hope.
Thank you very much.
If you go to there and say, all right, then I wanted to say, if you in Nigeria want to get into entertainment, it's good you get into Actors Guild of Nigeria. It is the first association that will help you introduce things to you, tell you the companies that are doing their audition so that you can go in and have the chance and choice. Then, like I said, originality, discipline, dedication, determination will help sustain you when you have become an entertainer in this beautiful country of Nigeria.
Thank you. Really, really nice point about originality, which also Hilary mentioned. What's a unique selling point, discipline to stay sustainable, and determination. I think things are coming like the advisor there. I just have one last question for Pedro Lopez. Please, if you can keep it short because we're also running over time. But what the question was about, DRC Congo, young people are suffering without job. They're still making too many projects and ideas hoping to be supported. But all these projects still on paper without execution. How can the Congolese youth get help? What advice would you have for the Congolese youth? And then you can also jump off one of the questions that was also mentioned about getting donors, sponsorship, about on plans of actions.
Okay, thank you, Adelaide. I was impressed by the answers of Hilary and Mr. Kenneth. I think we have a very diverse panel. About the question about the youth Congolese, again, look for opportunities, but train yourselves. We need to be the best. Sometimes we have this idea that the world owns something to us. No, we need to look for opportunities. We need to excel. If you don't excel, it's tough. It's tough in this world. It's not easy. I would be here and lying to say, okay, guys, I'll do. It's not easy at all. We need to struggle. And so it's time to look for the best opportunities. There was another time and another age, things were a bit different. Now it's a challenge, but also there is a lot of opportunities. So excel, train yourself, think about how can you have different knowledge than the others, and then don't wait for anyone to open the door. If you have quality and if you excel, doors will open for you. And if they don't open, I want to be a bit radical here and just smash it. And smash it not in a negative way, in a positive way. Just make quite an impression. If you are a young entrepreneur, sell, keep selling. Show them that you are different than the others. And this is something that the world is divided with people that cry and the people that sells the things for people that cry. It's important that we don't wait for anyone, and you excel, look for opportunities and opportunities of the future. I think that's very, very important. And connect yourself with others that think alike, surrounded with people that make you look further and look for more opportunities. And always, since you less we have, more we have to look for opportunities. And this came from a guy that I don't belong to. My family don't belong to the political world, I never have, I'm from civil society. I don't belong to any political party. I've been chosen because of the work that I've done in the country. So these kind of things are, I think it's an opportunity that we have in Africa, and I think right now in the world, is to excel. Sometimes we think that nothing will change and things are just for the privileged ones. And I think the world is changing, and we need to look for those opportunities.
Definitely. Thank you very much. It's true that we all have an opportunity. It's difficult. Nothing is easy. Rejection is there. Tough situation, economic, social. Yes.
Sorry, just let me conclude. And if Congolese startups and founders, they want to come to Cape Verde, we are completely right now. No, I'm being honest. We're creating a ICT hub with a tech park. We are investing a lot of money in the tech park, and we want the talent of Africa to be located here in Cape Verde, a country with very low level of corruption, with sun. People will not chase you because of your religion or because of your color of your skin or because of your sexuality or anything else. People will focus on the things that you can do. And this is a country, and if you want to look for these opportunities, go to digital.cv. I also left my contacts there. If you have ideas and you want to make them happen here in Cape Verde, well, you have an opportunity here.
Thank you very much for that, and thank you for inviting all the young people really to invest. Africa is big, so you can come out of the borders, and there are opportunities next door if what you want to do isn't in your own country. On the last one, I just want you to say one sentence about what do you think about the work that Grand Africa is doing. I think this conference is really interesting and insightful to have these different people share with young people directly live. And this particular session was very interesting for me because it was so specific, so concrete, and thank you for sharing your experience and your advice for the young people. So I'll just finish on that, just one sentence, because we are really over time. I'll start with you, Pedro. What do you think of the work that Grand Africa is doing?
Well, again, being honest, like I was trying to be in the 100% of my time of this conference. I didn't know the work of what GAIN were doing. And then I searched on the website, and they're doing a fantastic job as a Pan-African institution. And we need more bright minds that think alike to get together. So sometimes this is also, if you don't have a job, while you are training yourself, also give your skills to an NGO organization. Think what you can do, and while you are doing it, you're gonna learn something from the others. And I think we need to have a strong civil society in our continent. And that's why I want to congratulate Chinua, because she's a rock star. She put all of this together, and she was even emailing me 5 minutes before the conference. And I know sometimes I don't reply, but because I have a lot of things on my agenda, but she makes sure that she connected everyone in this panel. And we have 200 participants from across Africa and also from India. I saw someone texting. So keep going, keep pushing, and keep aiming for the best for our continent and for the youth, because they deserve it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Dr. Kenneth, if you can also say one word about what you think about Grand Africa.
All right, I'm going to follow the style to say one sentence in 10 sentences. Now, if you want to know the power of the Grand Africa Initiative, just remember this thing: connect, discover, and grow. You know, this is all about gain. You will gain something when you network with others. You will connect with others, use your own knowledge and mix with them. This is what GAIN is talking about. You will discover opportunities in GAIN, and you will grow thereby. So people like Chinwe, just like the professor said earlier, she doesn't take no for an answer. And that is the spirit that you need to conquer a developing world where there are a lot of challenges. So I'll advise every youth, and indeed everybody, to always tune in to everything that concerns gain. That is why the acronym GAIN excites me a lot, because you have a lot of things to gain in Grand African Initiative. Connect, discover, and grow. That's the whole essence of GAIN. And I'm glad to be here. And I thank Chinwe Okoli for initiating this wonderful initiative and advise everybody to join in.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kenneth. And Hilary?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so quite honoured to be the giving the final word here. Yeah, I think just want to repeat, rock star definitely comes to mind when we think of Chinwe, Adelaide, yourself as well. I follow you very closely in your own initiatives. For us, it's clear women are clear agents of change. Both of you are absolute inspirations to us. You've got drive, you've got determination, and you've got tenacity, and that's how you bring such a group here together, being the glue between those different sectors so that we can all learn from each other and gain more. I go back to what Kenneth said. And I would say, yes, for all of those listening, to lean into GAIN. There's so much to be learned. There's so much that we can do as civil society, as women civil society organizations by banding together. And a word of hope then to the young people who are listening to us today. Start with believing in yourself and others will believe in you. So thank you.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you to our lovely panelists. I can't even summarize in one sentence everything that's been said, but I hope you took some notes. I saw that Pedro left some interesting links in the comment section. Please have a look. These websites, these platforms are really useful if you're looking for opportunities. And I just want to end by also saying a great congratulations to the Grand Africa's team and Chinwe especially for the amazing work that you do. Everybody watching, you're future rock stars, so you know what to do now. And I just want to wish you a lovely end of day. Take care of yourself, stay safe wherever you are. And let's be rock stars.
Thank you, Africa. Thank you,
Thank
guys.
Africa.
Thank you very much. Hilary Lopez Adenta.
Stay safe and stay well, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Asha.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Adelaide, for moderating a great panel. Dr. Kenneth Okonkwo, Pedro Lopez, and Hilary Barry. We appreciate your wise words on discovering job opportunities across various sectors.
Grand Africa